Some stretches of your life feel like a low hum, a background noise that's steady and forgettable. Then, there are moments that feel like a tuning fork has been struck, sending a vibration through everything that will define what comes next. July 2025 isn't just another date to circle on your calendar, it's a crossroads designed to distinguish those in a spiritual slumber from those with their eyes wide open, to separate those who are drifting aimlessly from those who are moving with purpose. When the universe whispered, "Everything shifts on July 2, this wasn't some casual forecast for your amusement. It wasn't designed to create panic or hollow excitement. It was a profound signal, transmitted only to those who have cultivated the inner quiet needed to receive it. Your world is saturated with static. You are constantly flooded with signals from the outside, messages telling you what to buy, who to envy, what to strive for. This external chaos is designed to pull your attention away from the only expedition that truly matters, the one happening within your own soul. So many are desperate for a sign from above. They are waiting for a clap of thunder, a dramatic vision, something that screams at them. But the divine often operates in the space between your breaths. The most powerful messages arrive when all other chatter dies down. The quiet current before the tidal wave is not a threat, it's a sacred invitation. However, only those who have conditioned their awareness, their spirit, and their soul to tune into the frequency of truth will grasp what is being extended. A signal like this isn't processed by the ears, it is recognized by the soul. To perceive it, you must clear your inner channels of interference, of fear, of pride, of relentless wanting. The real reason the majority won't grasp the meaning of July 2 is that they are too fixated on hearing what they desire instead of becoming receptive to what is real. You cannot be poured into when you are already full. When you're overflowing with your own narrative, you can't hear the universal story. When you're locked into your expectations, you are blind to the miracle you didn't see coming. This is the very reason masters, mystics, and spiritual warriors prioritize stillness. They understand that divine intelligence can only fill an empty vessel. There's a conditioning that must be undertaken in solitude. Much like the earth gathers its strength under the quiet snow of winter to prepare for the explosion of spring, your spirit must go through its own quiet season before its great awakening. People often imagine that change happens in a flash of lightning. Yet true soul-level transformation begins its work long before the ground trembles. It starts when you begin to honor the faint nudges from within, when your daily patterns start to elevate, when your focus sharpens, when you consciously choose inner peace over external drama, commitment over convenience, mindfulness over mental clutter. These are not coincidences, they are indicators that your inner world is recalibrating to a higher call. And what is this call? It is the clear, calm voice of your own destiny, the energy that guides you to prepare, to purify, to align. It doesn't need to be loud, because shouting is for those who are trying to force a connection. A pure signal is for those who are already listening. Think of an athlete training in the pre-dawn hours. They aren't seeking an audience or applause. They are conditioning themselves in quiet for a game no one else knows is on the schedule. This is a perfect parallel to your spiritual journey. You are being conditioned for a monumental shift. And this shift will not come with a press release. It will not plead for your attention. It won't seek your approval. It will just be. And when it arrives, it will not reward the boastful or the arrogant. It will elevate those who are attuned. Imagine a deep-sea diver meticulously checking their gear for hours. On the day of the dive, observers only see the graceful plunge. They miss the thousands of moments of silent, focused preparation. The same applies to your soul. When July 2 comes, the world will see some people navigate the new currents with grace, purpose, and inner power, while others are thrown into chaos, anxiety, and despair. The difference is stark yet simple. Those who felt the current before the wave had already anchored themselves in truth. They didn't need an external event to jolt them awake. Their awakening was already their way of life. The material world demands evidence before it will offer its belief. But the spiritual path is the opposite. It's about becoming the evidence. If you're perpetually waiting for a sign, you'll never embody one. The divine doesn't give you a message so you can sit and contemplate it. It gives you a message so you can move, so you can act, so you can strip away the false selves, the limiting beliefs, the empty ambitions. This quiet signal is a form of grace. It's a chance to get your inner house in order before the transformation is made manifest. You don't need the heavens to split open to trust what's coming. You only need to honor the resonance in your own spirit and act on it. This is why inner quiet is so precious. Not for its peacefulness, but for its clarity. It allows you to perceive what the busy mind cannot. There are certain truths that only a still spirit can hold. And so your training is not in how loud your affirmations can be, but in how profoundly you can listen. You must look at your life honestly. When society clamors, do Do you follow blindly or do you reflect inward? When anxiety surges, do you run from it or do you breathe into it? When the herd stampedes in one direction, do you go with the flow or do you stand firm and ask, why? Those who have picked up on the signal know that life is not about reacting, it's about responding from a centered place. But you cannot respond with deep wisdom if you haven't first done the work in silence. So many people live in a state of constant reaction. Their moods dictate their day, their insecurities run their lives, their dependencies keep them chained. So when the real shift happens, they are tossed into panic. They'll cry out, why was there no warning? But the truth is, the signal was sent. It was just a quiet frequency, and they were too tuned into the noise to hear it. Discipline is the art of honing your awareness. It's not a punishment, it is the pathway to clarity. A warrior practices every single day, not because they are guaranteed to face a battle, but because being ready is a non-negotiable state of being. If you wait for the world to feel chaotic to begin strengthening your spirit, you've already missed the point. Your inner work starts right now in the intention you set when you wake up, in the compassion you show to others, in the focus you bring to your time, in the thoughts you choose to empower. These actions seem insignificant, but they are the very foundation of your inner sanctuary. And when the great winds of transformation blow, only the structures built on truth will remain standing. The quiet signal is also a test of your humility. Many believe they are ready because they've accumulated information, but knowledge that isn't lived is just a form of ego. You might be able to quote every spiritual text, but do you live by their principles? You might talk about wisdom, but do you move with integrity? This signal is not for your intellect, it is for your spirit, and the spirit can only receive a truth it is humble enough to integrate. You have to let go of the attachment to being seen as right, the need for validation, the hunger for external praise. All of this is just more static, and static will always drown out the truth. When July 2 arrives, everything that was hidden will come to light. But for those who have conditioned themselves in inner stillness, it won't be a shock. They won't be consumed by fear. They will take a deep breath and keep walking their path. Why? Because their compass is not guided by external events but by internal resonance. Their power doesn't come from knowing what will happen, but from their disciplined presence. Their peace isn't rooted in the lack of external chaos, but in the unshakable presence of their own purpose. And this has always been the point of the signal purpose. The divine isn't calling you for spectacle, it is calling you to a higher state of being. But this elevation demands that you release what is no longer in vibrational alignment with it. Many people are praying for change while still gripping tightly to what is comfortable and familiar. They desire a complete overhaul but won't surrender their convenience. You can't ascend if you're holding on to anchors. This quiet signal is an invitation to let go, release the anxieties, the old wounds, the heavy stories. Only by becoming lighter can you rise. So tune in not with your physical senses but with your entire being. See not just with your eyes but with clear awareness. Move forward not by sight but by resonance. If you feel that pull, that internal knowing that something profound is shifting, that a great revelation is on the horizon, do not dismiss it. Do not put it off. Start today. Come back to your breath. Come back to your discipline. Come back to your truth. The quiet signal before the shift is not something you go looking for, it is something you become. And those who embody it won't be afraid of the wave, they will ride it as if it were a gentle current, because they are already carried by a more powerful force, the current of the divine. Real preparation doesn't start when the world acknowledges the danger, it starts when the soul perceives the shift in energy. What the untrained observer fails to notice, the conditioned spirit has already registered. There's a universe of difference between reacting to your life and being in alignment with it. When a person lags reactively, they're always a step behind, constantly seeking stability, perpetually bewildered when change inevitably comes. But when you live in alignment, you are never truly caught off guard. You might not have the specific details, but you've already received the heads up through your intuition, through symbolic dreams, through that persistent inner restlessness. That sense of unease you've been carrying, that feeling that something major is approaching, something huge and beyond your personal control. That's not just nerves, that is your spirit preparing. That is your own soul signaling, it's time to get centered. What unfolds on July 2nd, 2025 is not some random occurrence, it is a convergence point. It is a moment where energies, choices, consequences, and truths that have been accumulating for ages finally meet. The world at large may react as if it's sudden, but the truly wise know this recalibration has been in progress for a very long time. The laws of the universe are never late. Every decision you've made, every intention you've held, every repeated action has been accounted for. The cosmos has never been asleep at the wheel. You may not have seen the scales moving, but they have always been finding their balance. And those scales will tip on these sacred dates, not because the universe seeks to punish, but because fundamental laws must be honored. You reap what you sow, you become what you tolerate, you endure what you have prepared for. This preparation isn't a one-time event, it's a way of living. The people who are spiritually resilient on July 2 will not be the ones who wake up that day and make a sudden decision to get their act together. It will be those who have been walking the long, often thankless road of inner work. It will be those who have been mastering their thoughts when nobody was watching, who chose kindness when the world offered cruelty, who guarded their inner light when the darkness around them was seductive. These are the souls who have been getting ready, not from a place of fear, but from a place of knowing. They knew that when the great wind shifts, you must already have deep roots. You can't be figuring out how to stand your ground when the gale is already upon you. You must already be anchored. And how do you prepare? Not by acquiring more things, but by releasing what's unnecessary. Not by building thicker outer walls, but by fortifying your inner core. So many people are chasing the same things. They amass fortunes, social status, accolades, followers. But what is the true worth of these things? When the entire planet's vibration shifts upward, what will you do with your trophies if your own soul feels like lead? You cannot outsmart spiritual physics. When the earth elevates, only those with light hearts can ascend with it. You must consciously let go of bitterness, of grudges, of your unhealed traumas. This is the work. This is the purification. Because when that energetic curtain rises, and it is rising, everything that has been concealed will be brought into the open. You cannot fake inner peace. You cannot pretend to be disciplined. You cannot role-play alignment. On that day, your energetic signature will shout louder than any words you could speak. The world will react. That's what it does. It reacts to headlines, to emergencies, to fear-mongering. But your spirit doesn't have to react. Your spirit can prepare. Your spirit knows that divine timing isn't ruled by the clock on the wall, but by vibrational resonance. When the universe signals that everything is changing, it's not talking about your social calendar, it's talking about your soul's predestined evolution. There are seasons in your journey you do not get to pick, they pick you. And this season that is approaching is not about dreaming, it is about embodying. It is not for the mind that simply wishes, it is for the soul that takes action. You have to ask yourself, am I still making excuses for my patterns? Am I still looking for someone to give me permission? Am I still debating with my own inner truth? The window for questioning is closing. The time for embodying is now. This preparation is unique to each person. For one, it will be choosing quiet contemplation over constant digital noise. For another, it will be finally turning to face a pain they've kept buried for years. For some, it is about decisively cutting ties with things that have been siphoning their life force. For others, it is about extending forgiveness for something that felt impossible to forgive. These are not minor adjustments, these are inner revolutions. These are the powerful choices that construct a kind of inner world that doesn't crumble when the outer world begins to shake. And it is going to shake. Not to terrorize you, not to shatter you, but to reveal the real you. Because everything hidden is coming into the light, and when that happens, you will see two kinds of people, those who are horrified by what is being revealed, and those who have already made truth their training ground. When a seed is buried in the earth, it doesn't complain about the darkness. It instinctively trusts that its own growth is part of a perfect cycle. It doesn't fight the soil, it uses the pressure to begin its transformation, knowing the light is its destiny. In a very similar way, your own preparation has likely been happening in secret. Maybe you couldn't put into words why you've started to feel different. Maybe your old habits just don't feel right anymore. Maybe you've lost all appetite for surface-level chats. Maybe you've been instinctively pulling away from chaos, noise, and confrontation. This is not a coincidence. This is spiritual resonance. This is the deepest part of you synchronizing with the change to come. It's as if your soul has already started packing for a journey that your rational mind doesn't fully grasp yet. That is perfectly okay. Let your soul take the lead, your mind will catch up. Many will scramble to prepare when it's almost too late. They will try to binge, watch spiritual teachings, rush to mend broken patterns, desperately seek a feeling of safety. But you can't speed, run alignment. You can't put spiritual mastery in the microwave. You can't download discipline. These qualities are forged through consistent, dedicated time. And if you have already set foot on this path, even if you feel imperfect and far from your goal, you must understand this. You are already ahead of the tidal wave. Keep going, keep building. Because the energy of the world to come cannot be held by a self that is resisting its own evolution. The shift doesn't care about the mask you wear for the world, it is only interested in who you genuinely are. And that truth is either being set free by your actions, or it is being kept prisoner. This preparation is the sacred act of setting your true self free. Every warrior hones their blade long before any conflict, not out of aggression, but as an act of honor. The spiritual warrior doesn't wait for external validation to get serious about their practice. They are in a state of constant readiness, not because they crave conflict, but because genuine peace demands inner strength. On July 2, this very balance of inner peace and inner strength will be put to the test. Those who have no peace within will be overwhelmed by the intensity of the new energy. Those who have no strength will be swept away by the sheer velocity of the changes. That is why you must train now. Train your mind to find stillness in the storm. Train your emotions to respond with grace under pressure. Train your body to be a vessel of discipline. Train your spirit to have faith in what is not yet seen. Abandon the illusion that you have unlimited time. Time itself is never guaranteed, but your presence in this moment is always available, and within this presence, everything becomes possible. Your highest future isn't waiting for you to wish for it, it's waiting for you to embody it. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be present. And from this state of presence, you must consciously build the routines that protect your energy, build the boundaries that safeguard your peace. Build the daily rituals that elevate your awareness. These are the foundational stones you will stand upon when everything around you begins to move. And what about those who dismiss the signal? What becomes of those who laugh at the quiet call, who confidently declare, "It's all nonsense, nothing is going to happen"? They will be the ones who are completely blindsided. Not because a warning wasn't issued, but because they chose not to listen. Denial is not a shield from reality, it is only a postponement of your preparation. And when reality fully manifests, it doesn't care if you're ready, it just is. If you've done the work, you will see it as a catalyst for growth. If you have not, you will see it as a destructive force. This isn't a judgment from a higher power, it's simply the consequence of your own resistance. So prepare yourself, not in a state of fear, but in a state of reverence. Prepare not because you expect catastrophe, but because you sense a collective awakening. Prepare not for how the world will react, but for your soul's own expansion. There is an undeniable beauty that unfolds when you are ready. There is an immense power that gets switched on when you are aligned. There is a profound peace that takes root when you finally surrender. And this peace is never discovered in the noise of the world, it is cultivated in your practice, in your breath, in your quiet moments, in your silence. Stop looking to the external world for a sense of security. True safety is not out there, it is an inside job. It is found in how you meet chaos. It is in how you conduct yourself when no one else is looking. It is in the choices you make when it would be so much easier to stay asleep. Every conscious step you take now is building your capacity for tomorrow's challenge. Every time you choose discipline, you are preparing to rise with the new energy. Every time you say no to what depletes you, you are saying yes to what prepares you. There are only two ways to greet July 20, in shock or in resonance. The first path leads to deep confusion, the second leads to profound clarity. And this clarity isn't a result of predicting the future, it's a result of having prepared your own presence. The energy of that moment is already drawing near. The tide is rising, you may not be able to see it, but your spirit feels it. Honor that feeling, don't suppress it. Don't distract yourself from it. Let it guide you to your inner training. Let it call you more deeply into your sacred practice. Let it be a constant reminder the work you do in silence is never ever lost. It is being stored, it is being registered, it is compounding. And when the very ground of the world begins to vibrate, you will not shake because you were never waiting for the world to give you a warning, you had already begun. You weren't reacting, you were ready. You weren't desperately seeking safety, you were embodying it. A deep misunderstanding exists in our modern culture about how genuine transformation works. Many have been led to believe that wanting to change is sufficient, that setting a powerful intention is all it takes, that declaring goals, scripting them, reciting them, that this somehow forces the universe to obey. But the sacred laws don't respond to intention alone, they respond to alignment. Energy doesn't gravitate toward what you wish for, it gravitates toward who you are. When the divine signaled that everything changes on July 2, 2025, it wasn't a message for those who are merely hoping for a better future. It was a signal for those who have already brought themselves into alignment with truth. In their thoughts, their words, and their daily actions, the mistake so many make is to equate clarity of desire with readiness of being. But the universe, the divine source, the flow of life, it doesn't listen to your surface level wishes, it feels the energetic frequency you constantly emit. You can say you want peace while your inner world is a battlefield. You can say you want wealth while your core energy is one of lack. You can say you want to evolve while resisting the very discipline it requires. This is the great disconnect. This is the reason God's signal is only picked up by those whose daily habits, internal self-talk, and secret intentions are harmonized into a single, coherent frequency. That frequency is not created by thinking about it, it is achieved through embodiment. Alignment is not an act you put on. It's not about trying to appear spiritual. It's not about the outward practices you do for an audience. Real alignment is invisible to most people but absolutely undeniable to the cosmos. You can't hustle your way into a higher vibration. You can't fake resonance. You are either vibrating in harmony with truth, or you are not. And when that energetic gateway opens on July 2, 2025, it will have zero interest in what you had intended to do. It will only amplify what you have actually become. This is the ultimate spiritual reality. Energy amplifies your being, not your words. Your own energy field is the key. The quality of your inner life is the ultimate measure. This is why the preparation isn't about talking more, it is about becoming more. If you claim to want peace but consistently choose drama, your being is misaligned. If you say you're ready for more but you live from a place of fear, you're misaligned. If you call yourself a vessel of light but you indulge in gossip, complaint, and resentment, you're misaligned. These aren't minor character flaws, they are spiritual fractures. And when a flood of divine energy pours onto the planet, it seeks out coherence. It amplifies what is whole. It promotes those who are radically honest, not flawless, but honest. The world gives its trophies to the loud, the strategic, the perfectly polished. But the divine elevates the sincere, the aligned, the quietly disciplined. There is a sacred formula at play: thought, fuss, speech plus action, your energetic signature. If your thoughts declare, I am trusting, but your words are full of anxiety and your actions are born from fear, your signature is one of confusion. If your thoughts say, I am powerful, but your words are defensive and your actions are reactive, your signature is one of dissonance. And it doesn't matter how many times you state your intentions or how beautifully you script them in a journal, if your being is fractured, your energy will be out of sync with the coming shift. And when an energy signature doesn't match the new current, it gets left in the old paradigm. The planet is not just shifting its consciousness, it is elevating its very vibration. The changes ahead are not designed to benefit the clever, they will benefit the aligned. This is why so many people who look ready on the outside will be completely overwhelmed, while those who have been quietly doing the deep inner work will seem to rise effortlessly. There is a velocity to spiritual energy that only a still heart can manage. There is a frequency so refined that only a humble spirit can tune into it. And on July 2, as this frequency is turned up, your level of alignment won't be something you can filter or manage, it will be laid bare. Many will experience this as immense pressure. They will feel naked and exposed. Because when the vibration of truth rises, everything built on a lie is forced to the surface. This is the test, and it is not judged on your performance but on your purity of being. It will not ask how many spiritual books you consumed. It will ask, did you embody what you learned? It will not ask how large your following was. It will ask, how many times did you honor your truth when you were completely alone? It will not ask how loud you prayed. It will ask, how quiet could you make your mind? Alignment is a silent force, but its impact is seismic. 3 pillars uphold genuine alignment: integrity, discipline, and surrender. Integrity is living your truth, especially when it costs you comfort. It's saying no to what violates your soul, even if saying yes would please everyone else. It's keeping the promises you make, not just to others, but most importantly, to yourself. Discipline is doing what is necessary for your growth, not what feels easy in the moment. It's waking up early when your mind makes excuses. It's breathing through a wave of anger instead of lashing out. It's the daily conditioning of your focus, your emotions, and your energy. And surrender is releasing your grip on outcomes, not as an act of giving up, but as an act of profound trust. You stop trying to force things. You stop trying to control every detail. You harmonize with the divine current and move with it, even when your logical mind can't see the destination. Most people try to use force on energy. They try to will their way into a higher state. But force will always generate resistance. Flow creates resonance. You must learn to become a clear channel through which energy can move without obstruction. You must clear out the blockages, the ego, the fear, the resentment, the comparison, the impatience. These things constrict your vibrational field, and when the planet's frequency shifts, a constricted field will shatter. But when you are in alignment, you are like a perfectly crafted flute, empty of self, pure in tone, and ready to be played by the breath of the divine. There is a sacred rhythm unfolding, and just as a flower opens in its divinely appointed season, so too does your soul. But you can't force yourself to bloom, you must nourish your roots. Your roots are your daily discipline. Your roots are your commitment to silence. Your roots are the choices you make in the unseen moments of your life. What you do when no one is watching is what determines your readiness for the moment when everything is seen. And on July 2, the light will not just illuminate the earth, it will either shine through you or it will expose you. There will be no in between. Energy does not compromise with half-truths, it either moves through clarity or it stops dead at distortion. This is why this present moment, this now, is your sacred training ground, not tomorrow, not next week. Now, because the law is elegant in its simplicity, you will rise to the level of your alignment, not your aspirations. You will receive in accordance with your preparation, not your proclamations. And you will be tested not on what you say you believe, but on who you have become. You have to ask yourself, have I become the kind of vessel that can carry this next level of truth, of power, of responsibility? Or am I still just hoping the world will change while I stay the same? You are not waiting for energy to arrive. Energy is waiting for you to become ready. The divine current has never stopped flowing. The real question is, are you able to hold it? Are you a solid container, or are you still leaking your life force through unconscious habits, a scattered mind, and emotional reactivity? Your capacity to hold and direct energy is the measure of your spiritual maturity. And spiritual maturity has nothing to do with age. It has to do with awareness, with self-accountability, with choosing growth over ego again, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. On July 2, the divine heartbeat will intensify. Some will rise because their internal framework is sound. Others will crumble because their foundation was built on illusion. You must construct your inner temple now, not with platitudes, but with presence, not with concepts, but with choices. You must wash the windows of your perception. You must clear the floors of your soul of old debris. You must open the doors of your heart so the light can flood in. Because energy, sacred, real, and transformative, doesn't force its way into chaos, it pours into order. Not the order of rigid control, but the sacred order of alignment. This alignment demands a radical form of honesty, a fiercely loving honesty. You have to look at your own life and ask, where am I still out of harmony with my own truth? Where am I still performing? Where am I still picking comfort over my own calling? The answers may not feel good, but facing them is what sets you free. You cannot transform what you refuse to see. You cannot harmonize with the truth you deny. But when you do, when you finally see yourself without judgment and love yourself enough to do the work, the entire universe rearranges itself to support you, not as a reward, but because you have finally tuned yourself to its natural rhythm. And here is the final secret: alignment is not a destination you arrive at, it is a state you constantly return to. Every single moment is an invitation to come back. Every breath is a portal back to center. Every choice is a new opportunity to tune the instrument of your being. And just like a guitar, you don't tune it once and assume it's done. You must tune it daily with care, with presence, with devoted awareness. Because the music of your life depends entirely on your tuning. When that sacred day comes, the world will not change you, it will simply reveal you. The flood of incoming energy will not create your alignment, it will amplify it. And so the most critical work you can possibly do is not to hope, not to fear, but to align. Not in theory, but in practice. Not for show, but for your soul. Not to impress the world, but to express the divine. Not out of anxiety about the future, but out of complete reverence for the power of now. Because in the end, it will not be your goals that see you through the shift. It will be your groundedness. It will be your stillness. It will be your alignment.